Relationships are like a roller coaster. Let me explain. Social penetration theory says that it is the process of bonding that moves a relationship from superficial to more intimate. Intimacy is more than just physical, but also involves verbal and environmentally oriented behaviors. Trajectory, the pathway to closeness, is what relationships typically follow. I'll be discussing the ups, downs, and different speeds of my previous relationship through the lens of social penetration theory. First, let's begin with the foundation. I was in a relationship almost 2 years, and it was literally the epitome of a roller coaster. My relationship suffered deep penetration, which is the slow deterioration of the relationship. This is the climax of the roller coaster. From that point on, you feel like anything could happen. Along with my downfall of my relationship, it also suffered transgressions. These are violations of relational rules, practices, and expectations. At times, I didn't feel respected because my morals were ignored. Moving forward, all the issues I had in my relationship made me think about self-disclosure. These are the personal messages about the self disclosed to one another. It is the core of relationship development. To grow, you must self-disclose. I felt like my self-disclosure was worthless at one point because I remember saying that I didn't want to waste my time. And then later down the road, my time was being wasted. What's the point of being in a relationship if you're just trying to benefit yourself? There can't only be one person self-disclosing. This brings me to my next point, the onion metaphor. In SPT, the onion represents the layers of your personality. The outer layer is what others see. We also want to look at reciprocity. This is the return of openness from one person to another. It is the primary component of social penetration theory. When I was self-disclosing, I didn't always feel like my significant other was doing the same. It was like talking to a brick wall. I would listen to him and try to make it work and compromise, but it was never the same towards me. This leads me to the two dimensions of SPT, breadth and depth. Breadth is the number of topics discussed in a relationship, and depth is a degree of intimacy guiding each topic. I always felt like I had a good balance of both, but my lover didn't. The more depth, the greater opportunity for a person to feel vulnerable. The more you pour into a person, the more likely they are to do the same. Finally, I'd like to discuss the stages of SPT. I went through the talking phase for a few months before I knew I was ready to date my previous boyfriend. SPT would describe the first phase as the orientation stage. This is the earliest stage of interaction where you reveal small parts of yourself. This would be basic information like your name, where you're from, what grade you're in, and things of that nature. Once I had a good idea of my lover, I wanted to learn more about his personality. SPT says that this is the exploratory, affective exchange stage. We were both cautious about revealing ourselves too much, but wanted to emerge our personalities more. I found myself getting more comfortable with him, and not so much intimate, but more so developing a close friendship with him. SPT describes this as affective exchange stage. We were becoming spontaneous and comfortable for relational partners. At this point, I knew I could be myself around him. It even got to the point where we used personal idioms towards each other. Those are the private, intimate expressions stated in a relationship. He was my love bug, and I was his baby. I just knew he was the one. We finally became official. We discussed our future together and how we would be together no matter what. Unfortunately, we never made it to the stable exchange stage. This is where there's complete openness and spontaneity for relational partners. You're basically married at this stage in the relationship, hence the stable part. In conclusion, I hope my personal story and the roller coaster reference help you understand the social penetration theory. And remember, all relationships are like roller coasters. They never remain consistent. And that, my friends, is the social penetration theory. Thank you.